Hello, everyone, and
Hi,
welcome
everyone.
to another episode of the
Someone Had to Say podcast.
It's good to be back. How are you doing
Good to be
today?
back. I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
Yeah, doing good.
Okay.
Glad to be doing this with you once
Let's
again.
do this.
So before we get into the topic for the day, I have a simple question.
Okay.
Now, I know like a lot of people enjoy eating certain foods. So, but what is one food at least that you think is overrated?
This one is a bit tough for me because I don't have any strong attachments to any kind of food. But let me think.
That means it should be easy for you to pick an overrated food.
Yeah, I don't think passionately about any food, but if I were to pick, I would say maybe egusi.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You
Egusi.
think egusi is overrated?
Yeah, because I think egusi is just a very weird food, like very sensitive soup.
Some people's fave.
You know, I feel like it's bipolar. Yes.
Okay, explain.
Egusi can taste like really good today and just mistreat the thing, don't treat it tenderly, don't care for it. Like,
so egusi is a diva.
Do you understand? The thing will just go bad for no reason. Do you get like I just think it's a weird soup.
Interesting.
And I think it's either, when it comes to preparing it, it's either going to be a hit or a miss. There's usually no in between. And for me, when I manage to eat it, like it's either a check or it's like, nah, I can't do this.
But egusi is always nice now. At least I can testify.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like when I maybe eat it out, or that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
So
For me, I will offend a lot of people because there are a lot of foods that I think are overrated. Number one, coconut rice. I honestly don't get that combo. What is coconut rice? And people for the longest time, I never tasted coconut rice. So I was really looking forward to it because people were always waxing lyrical about it.
Yeah.
The first time I had it, I think I remember it was my sister that made the one Christmas like this. She too was like, all right. So that particular one was a bust because I know something happened. I can't remember. Maybe there was too much of the coconut milk or something, whatever. So that particular one. So there was like, so she was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it again this time around. It's because it's this one. So I was like, okay, no problem. The next time she made it, she actually did it well. But then I was like, is this the coconut rice? Like, nah. I even ordered it. I know we even ordered it recently from one of the biggest restaurants.
You really enjoy it.
It's still every single time I taste it, I'm like, what's this mixture?
About?
Who even discovered it? Like, what was going on in the person's mind?
When it's well made, it's awesome.
Well, my list is plenty. I have other ones. Plantain. Plantain is just there. Like, I don't get the
come
hype.
For you with this one.
I know you people swear on plantain, but I don't get it. Which other one? Asun. Like,
Asun.
Was gosh. I don't know. If we continue like this, some people will just tune out because of my hate for their field. But you know what? It's time for the red shoe box. Let's get
it
right into it. Because today is not about hating on people's favorite food.
Jiggle.
Yeah.
So we jiggle and then we pick a question.
Yes. So let's see what we have for today.
Wow. This is an amazing one. So we're going to be discussing debunking gender stereotypes, unlearning what society told us about men and women. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome topic. Debunking gender stereotypes. Yeah. So, first question would be, what are some of the stereotypes that you have observed that, people talk about men and women and stuff like that?
I think there are a lot of it. The one that readily comes to mind is that women are emotional and men are logical.
Oh, yeah. That one is the master stereotype.
I laugh. Okay. Another one would be boys are not supposed to cry or men are not supposed to cry.
That's why
one.
they always tell us it's okay to cry on
Yeah.
international ministry.
Anyway, that was a separate discussion. Let's not get into that. Another one would be women are naturally domesticated, and men are natural providers, or are just naturally born to be leaders and providers. Yeah, I think those are the ones that readily come to mind.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned some of the top ones. Let me see. Is there any other one that I can think of? I mean, speaking on that first one you mentioned, men are logical, women are emotional. I always like to say that if you have seen an angry man, you have seen an emotional man. So, I mean, everybody is a mixture of so many things.
And like you say, and like you always say that men have just convinced themselves that anger is not an emotion, but it is an emotion.
So that will lead me to the next question. So as we speak regarding this, it is believed that in a home, there should be gender roles. So do you believe in gender roles as it relates to family, the family setup?
So here's the thing. I think we need to look at the principle behind gender roles. And I think the principle behind it was for structure, right? It was for structure. It was for division of labor.
Yeah.
And when you think of it in that context, it's not a bad thing in that sense, because things needed to be done.
Yeah.
Money needed to be provided for. The house needed to be taken care of. The children needed to be taken care of. So it made sense to have a structure to divide labor, and the things that needed to be done. So in answering your question, I would say I don't believe in gender roles, but I believe in the principle behind, allocating tasks, based on strength, based on context, based on availability, because scenarios can change, context can change. Yeah. A baby can arrive, somebody may change jobs, somebody may have to be more mobile and all of these things. So when we think of it from that lens, it will shape how we even allocate roles. Yeah. Because the basis for the role allocation made sense 100 years ago, 50 years ago, when men would go out for extended periods to, say, maybe go to war, to go on, just get things done for the family. And then it made sense for the women to primarily stay back, to hold the fort at home, to take care of the children, and all of that. But as we've evolved as a society, some of these things do not necessarily apply, especially as we expect women to not just have home skills, but have money-making skills. I think it just makes sense that men also have money-making skills and also are able to be useful, and able to do certain things in the home. It just makes logical sense, So those are my thoughts around it.
That's really good. I mean, regarding gender roles, in my opinion, so of course, not like I have a varying opinion. I sort of see the stereotype a bit differently. So I do believe that in a home, for a home to function, there needs to be roles, and if something is a stereotype, it means it has worked. There's a reason why it's a stereotype. It's because it has been consistently corroborated over time by evidence. Whether it is a confirmation bias or an actual, natural selection process, it is what it is for a particular reason. And I do believe that, yes, you can't just run a family based on just random functionality. Somebody needs to be responsible for something. The way I see gender roles set up in a family is that, yes, say a man is the one responsible for providing, and the woman is responsible for nurturing and caring and all that stuff. I don't see that as a bad setup if it is executed in the way I believe it should. Most times, people see these responsibilities as at the task level, at the execution level. But I think that there is a more executive mindset that can even make these gender roles practical in your home. And what I mean by that is that somebody has to be held responsible for provision in the home. I don't have a problem with that being the man. In fact, I think it should be the man. It's part of your leadership responsibilities. In terms of executing that role, you are able to deploy every member of that household into executing it. So that means that the person, I believe, should be held responsible in that sense to make sure that everything in terms of provision for this home, we are fully utilizing our skill sets, our abilities, and our capabilities.
Wow, that's so profound.
Is me, the man. It's my responsibility. So it's my responsibility to keep on thriving and advancing in my career, to make sure that there's enough resource in our household for us to grow and achieve all that we want to. It's my responsibility to also make sure that you are able to advance and achieve all you need in your career, and make sure that there's enough resource coming into our household that our children thrive and everything related to provision is adequately achieved. I believe
Give me a moment to snap that in.
So I believe that we may be skilled differently. The dynamics may always shift. As long as, even if it means that the nature of my work, the nature of what it is that we are doing requires me to be more at home and you to be more out in the field. It means I'm strategically thinking about how you can even harness that gift more. It is under my purview. On the other hand, I feel that the woman is responsible for caregiving and nurturing in the sense of that also executive management of that responsibility. And she has the right and capacity to deploy every resource in that family to making sure that that is achieved. So that means that there should be food in the house. You decide if I am the one doing the cooking, if you are the one doing the cooking, if we are outsourcing the cooking, if we need to hire a help to do it.
Ordering.
Yes. So of course, not unanimously. So I'm not saying that it's a perfect science, but that I expect that innovation and the ideas around managing that should be handled by you. You are the executive director of that department. So that means that you can say that, okay, babe, this is what we are going to be eating this week. You are the one that is going to be cooking. You are the one that is going to be cleaning. That means, you can basically say that if that is our makeup at that moment, the most important thing is that there is food in the house.
The job gets done.
And that job gets done. So most times people get it wrong when they are now looking at the nitty-gritty and that, okay, no, my wife must be the one cooking on my table. No, I prefer to see it from a more executive perspective. That in terms of making sure that, okay, do we have of course, it's like I said, it's not a perfect science. It's not a unanimous decision. Yes. But that, okay, do we want a living nanny? Do we want somebody that goes and comes back? I believe that the ideas and all of that should primarily come from the person who manages that executive institute. And then when you bring, so we can always come to the table of dialogue. Okay, this is what I think where this is concerned. So I feel like this actually makes it practical and doable without throwing the baby away with the bathwater. Because there's a reason why what has worked for ages did work. But we must acknowledge that times have changed and we cannot keep on running it in the old, traditional, archaic way in which it was run. But somebody must be held responsible for everything that is going on in the home.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you still want to chip into that or I can move on to...
I think you've covered it exhaustively. And I was just thinking about how there are some things that happen in the house that I have no idea how it gets done. Like, I have no idea how power gets the bill, power bill gets paid.
It's not your fault.
Sometimes you ask me so, and I'm like, I don't know, and I have to check with you because that's your department, and you ensure it gets done. There are some things I do that I have no idea how it runs, and then you have to check in with me because executively, like you said, I'm in charge of ensuring. Do you get? I may not be the executor. Do you get? But directionally, and the accountability for it lies on my table. It's my responsibility to ensure that in terms of feeding, everybody's well fed. Does it mean I get my hands dirty in the kitchen? No. Do you get? It's my responsibility to ensure that certain things get done, but I may not be the executor, but I need to be thinking about it to ensure the job gets done at the end of the day.
The way some people put it, say who is responsible is different from who is accountable.
Now,
I don't know which one is So who is it, the person doing it that is responsible or accountable? But whichever, you shall
The
get the
accountable
points.
is the person,
The overseer,
yeah.
exactly. So you are accountable for that
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah.
So the person now responsible
is the person that executes.
The person that
Yeah.
executes it.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question will now be, now in raising kids, which is something that you had mentioned earlier, how some people feel like, oh, a female child has to be groomed to be able to handle domestic responsibilities, and boys are not supposed to be raised that way. What are some things that you feel like you would want to pass on to our children in terms of raising them in this modern generation? Some stereotypes you would not want to repeat in child. I don't like using rearing. Sometimes it's animals. They always say, in raising children, that you feel like people should adopt in the modern society.
So I love the fact that you use the word grooming, like in how girls are typically raised, grooming, because at the end of the day, some of the things we think are innate are actually not that innate. It's just a matter of nature versus nurture. So girls or women are the way they are a lot of time because they are being groomed to be a certain way. So it simply means that if you reapply that grooming to boys, it's likely that we'll have a different outcome of men.
True.
Of course, there are some things that apply both ways. There's a level of training that needs to be imparted into both genders, and there are some specific training based on their makeup and all of that. That being said, I think we need to even relook how, and this thing starts from infancy into toddlerhood. I remember, with our daughter, I would ask that, this toy we're about to buy, are we buying it because she's a girl? Or are we going to do it differently if it was a boy? And I think for me, it was a reality check, because I'm asking myself, the toys I'm buying for my daughter, the toys we're deciding to buy, or the things we're deciding to buy for her, are they equipping her for life? Are they helping her motor skills? Are they helping her sensory skills? Are they helping her spatial awareness versus grooming her to be a type of way? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So for instance, in terms of toy, and this seems really inconsequential or, very minute, but it starts from there. For the boy child, you would buy things like ball, you would buy Legos, you buy building blocks. For the girl child, you are buying dolls, you are buying kitchen sets, and they have their place. But at a stage in their growth, children actually need to play with ball. They actually need Lego sets. They need building blocks because it will help their analytical mind. It will help their spatial awareness. It will help their speed. It will help their coordination in a way that playing with dolls and playing with kitchen sets may not necessarily do at that point. There is also a phase that playing with dolls is necessary to understand nurturing, to understand care, to understand kindness. You understand? My daughter, and I think the only puffy toy she has is a teddy, right? We've never gotten a doll. It's a teddy, and she understands hug your teddy. She understands peck your teddy, and that's necessary for just understanding connection, kindness and all of that, and that's good. And actually, both genders need that.
So some people might argue now and say that. So I'm not saying that boys should play with dolls too. No, so of course that may invariably mean be what it means, but there's that natural.
That's the problem. The fact that in our minds something is twitching. Remember, I didn't need to get my daughter.
So that you not go and raise a boy now.
But you do know. But our daughter doesn't have a doll.
Definitely.
And it doesn't have to happen with a doll. But teaching, my point is, the principle is teaching empathy, kindness, connection, human connection, human touch. Do you understand? And I was going to mention, so kitchen sets. Of course, she doesn't have a kitchen set now, but at some point, there needs to be a simulation of that to be able to. So because the kids are coming to the kitchen, they are seeing you cook, and they are curious. They want to be involved. It may not be feasible at some point because you need to be safety conscious, right? But it's also important, and it's not a bad thing if that is simulated for both the boy child and the girl child. My point is that early on, we start to make sharp distinction as to how we are raising them, as to the skills they need to develop. Do you understand what I'm saying? Girls and boys should be able to learn to run fast. Because at that level, in terms of energy level, capabilities, they are like equal. Do you understand? But we already start limiting the girls. We exclude them from certain things that are important for their development. Even I'm grateful for schools who are doing better now, where they sport and all of that. But typically, for us growing up, it wasn't necessarily like that. Those aspects of development of education wasn't focused on. So the boys after school will typically just gather themselves and play ball. And then the girls are probably playing with, I don't know, pots or something and dolls and all of that. But I think this is how we need to reframe how we are raising our children, starting from even the toys we are buying for them. And we're asking ourselves, what's this toy going to accomplish? I mean, I don't know, for some reason I just like buying cars like for our daughter, because I think she just loves cars, right? But traditionally speaking, it's not something you would see. So it starts with paying attention to your child specifically. And number two, starting early on, rethinking the things you are buying for. You're already framing their mindsets. You're already framing them for something, right? And of course, and as they grow, you start to ask, this what I'm doing now, what is he equipping this child for? And think long term, what do I need to equip my child for? Eloquence, communication, leadership, speed, agility, flexibility. And this needs to we need to build into the foundation.
I mean, awesome. The way I see it, it's not really about the doll or the kitchen set. It's that you want to expose your child to a variety of learning options and let them pick their natural gravitations. Not because by default you have already established a confinement that this is what a girl should like, and those are the only options you'll be exposed to. Because at the same time, it's not wrong if the girl actually does like playing with dolls, or actually now draws stuff. And one funny thing I've noticed in life is that, I don't know if you've observed too, if you find a woman doing a career or vocation that is commonly attached to men, or the opposite, you find a guy doing something that is usually associated with females, they often thrive in those contrasting setups. Now, you hear that some of the best chefs in the world are men. Some of the best barbers for guys are female barbers.
I mean, your current barber now is female.
So things like that. And one thing I realize is that it may not necessarily be that the best chefs in the world are men. It may be because the men who are chefs by choice, not by the stereotype. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So it is more likely that you followed that path because you are passionate about it. If society has not by default forced you to go in that direction. So there's probably a larger majority of women who are cooks, who cook, but they just had to because everybody expected women to. So I won't be surprised if more male chefs are thriving in that vocation, because by default, it is not the expectation. So you must have shown genuine interest in pursuing that, and naturally you thrive in it. So that's just something interesting I discovered. So the fourth question, I think, if I'm counting correctly, we'll be looking at is just discussing these stereotypes generally. Like I said earlier, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. But then let's even just bounce them off ourselves. Some of all these things are also corroborated by certain books that reinforce certain ideologies and stereotypes. So one of the famous books that tell you how men and women behave is Men Are from Mars and Women Are from Venus. So I just want us to run through some of the things that were mentioned that, our expectations of men and women, and let's just see from ourselves. And, if you're watching as well, you can also ask yourself the same question. Am I the kind of person that was described? Do I fit into the mold? Just to let us know that, not all these things are perfect in that sense. Okay, so a few excerpts from the book. The first one is that women are inclined to verbalize their emotions more openly, while men tend to internalize their feelings. Is this true? For you?
For me, actually, not really true.
Exactly. Because it's looking like me, I'm from Venus in this
you get
in this particular
so
matter.
I like to process before I vocalize. So I think this one is more of coping mechanism. Individual coping mechanism and how you've been raised. So there's the nurture and how you just typically nature, how you process things. So I don't believe in this stereotype. I think a larger percentage of people may fall, but it's largely driven by grooming because I mean, societally, men are encouraged to not speak out, to process things internally and kind of, be self-sufficient, solve their issues themselves and all of that. Even within the male gender, they don't, a lot of people don't open up to each other, and it's just conditioning. While women have been conditioned to, to otherwise speak. I mean, you hear things like, women talk too much. You hear some men even say, oh, women talk too much. Or even women, I don't know if they realize that they're actually insulting themselves. When you see a man talking and then you say, why are you behaving like a woman? It's just so weird, So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So the next one is that in times of stress, men tend to withdraw and become secluded, whereas women seek emotional support and validation.
I think it's still the same thing with the first.
But I'm not a woman now. I'm not a woman. Because me, I can relate to in this, at least these two instances here. I feel like the things that are attached to. So I'm guessing there may be men from Venus, actually.
No, but then you need to also clarify. So do you actually open up, or you open up in spaces where you feel safe, or to your wife? Now I'm saying, are you the kind of person, because I don't think you open up, you just...
not generally. But then this thing also, because I feel like the book was also speaking specifically regarding relationships and how men should understand women and women should understand men.
No, I don't.
So for
in
us,
the book, my understanding is not how they interact with each other; it's how they interact
generally
with the world.
Speaking.
Generally speaking,
maybe I read the book a long time ago.
So
I can't,
because I don't think you open up to like
exactly. I don't open up to random people. But with us, I feel like I deal better with stress when I'm able to talk to you about it than just internalizing it. But I think the general belief is that even in the marriage context, that men would rather just leave me alone. Let me be myself. I know when I'm stressed, I don't.
You are an evolved.
That's why I don't think it's an evolution thing in that sense.
I'm just saying that comically.
Because I feel like that is actually what relieves me of stress. Do you get? So it's not really that. Okay, let's just take one more. Women need to feel loved, whereas men like the sense that they are useful.
I also don't agree with this one.
Okay.
Because men do actually want to feel loved.
Yes, I want to be taken care of.
I think men do actually want to be feel loved. Because some of you guys get angry when people are with you because of what you can do. Well, at the end of the day, forget this whole woman thing. We are humans, and you want to feel like people love you for who you are. You get, like, just as your person. Yeah, so that's what I think. And so men and then women want to be loved. Yeah, I hear it in some context that women want to be loved, men want to feel respected. The thing is, you can love a person, and because when we say love, it's kind of infantilizing in some people's head. Yeah. Because there's a way you can say, "Boy, I love you as a woman. All you need is love. You don't need respect." So you infantilize them, like you love them. You love them in a funny, in a childish way, but you don't honor them. You don't respect them. You don't acknowledge them. You don't take their input or what they say like seriously. Yeah. How is that person going to feel good?
True.
So sometimes in making this sharp contrast, we treat ourselves of the wholeness of what love should be about. Yeah. So a man actually needs, even though predominantly, there are some expressions that matter to them or speaks loudly to them, but everybody wants, as a man, you also want that tender love. Yeah. Do you get? Not somebody who is just, just
Odogu.
odoguing you all the time. And as a woman, yes, you want that tender love, but you want somebody who actually honors you, who acts like your opinions matter, who acts like your dreams matter, who takes you seriously, not just like you are a pet.
Exactly.
You love a pet, but you get what I mean. But you don't take the words of a pet like seriously. You don't ask for their opinions on life matters. So that's what I think.
Awesome. So I mean, you really said it all. So there really isn't a lot I want to chip to that. Women want to feel love, men. I think that this stereotypes as well, they are not mutually exclusive, and I don't think it's fair to just attach them to one gender exclusively and say that. So because at the same time, apart from the fact that it infantilizes or invalidates the needs of the other person, it also invalidates the need for the opposite thing in the main person. What does that mean? Let me just explain, because I'm even myself. As I was saying it was sounding funny. So when you say a man wants to feel useful, a man wants to feel respected, it's sort of almost invariably implying that a man doesn't need love. That what he needs to survive is just that respect only. It's not an absolute. In fact, in closing, I think my takeaway from this particular episode will be that anything that you feel like you need, anything that society places a burden of necessity on you as a person to require and need, also extend that same honor and grace to your partner as well. So let's not treat these things as exclusives. That, okay, this is what a man needs, this is what a woman needs. No. Ensure that anything that you know to do as good, anything that you desire as good to be done to you, also extend the same, in Christianese, hand of fellowship to your spouse as well. So that's what I think. Is there anything you would want to say in closing on that?
I think you've captured it quite aptly. What I would just add is that I think we need to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes people know certain things about themselves, but to avoid the risk of, as a man, looking feminine, you'd deny that about yourself. Know you actually want love, but because you've heard society tell you no, as a man, nothing concern love. You just respect. You shut down that self-aware part of yourself. Or as a woman, certain things matter to you. But because society has said this is what you are supposed to be, you need to fit into that mode. I think to thyself be true, be self-aware, understand yourself, and also help your partner understand you. And I think just free yourself of the shackles of expectations, right? Because we are complex people, we are complex beings with complex emotions and feelings, and we need to acknowledge that, so that we can embrace wholeness and just treat ourselves like humans and not stereotypes.
All right, so it's a wrap, I guess. So I hope you learned something from this episode. Thank you for being a part of it. This is the Someone Had to Say It podcast. Do make sure you subscribe. Please share this episode with somebody you love or somebody you hate and hope will change to touch their lives.
And engage.
Please. Subscribe, like, all the things that we need you to do. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and see you on the next one.
See you.
Bye.
Someone had to say it. Someone had to say it.